Hey, this is Aaron Hobson with Red Hook Guitar. Today I'm going to talk about a very simple chord called a fifth chord or a five chord, otherwise known as a power chord. I'm sure you've seen them in music like this, just written C5, F5, G5, and gone, what the heck is that? Well, it's a really simple formula. It's just a root and a fifth and an octave. A lot of times when I start teaching this chord to young kids that don't really have the facilities to really stretch their fingers very far, we always start off with just the root and the fifth at first, and then when they get a little stronger you can add the octave. So you see them both ways, just root and fifth or root fifth octave. So this would be an E5, this would be an F5, F sharp 5, G5, G sharp 5, A5, etc. A5, A sharp 5, B5, C5, C sharp 5, D5. So typically you see them with the root on the top string or the root on the A string. Sometimes in like the 80s, whether it was like Eddie Van Halen or Def Leppard or bands like that, you would hear sometimes played on the D string. So you have the root and the fifth and the octave this way, right? So that's not as common. But you have to stretch your pinky out a little further, because remember from lesson 1, the guitar is tuned in fourths with the exception of the G to the B string, which is a major third, right? So I have to extend my pinky 1 fret higher to get that power chord on the D string. So as long as you know your roots and your notes on the E string and the A string and the D string, you can move these chords around. So obviously these are kind of a darker, heavier sound. You hear them in the old punk music like the Ramones, the Sex Pistols. More modern stuff would be like Green Day, Boulevard of Broken Dreams, right? They're used in metal and rock, and you know they're more of a heavy sounding chord. A really easy chord to start with and to play. A lot of people use them as a substitute for bar chords in the beginning, like if you really just can't get your hands around a bar chord and do that. Sometimes it's easier just to cheat it and play a power chord, just play the root and the fifth and the octave. So anyway, I'll give a lot of examples of bands that use these chords in the description. Like I said, it's an easy one, just root fifth or root fifth octave. Sometimes you can play around with the fifth, like some metal bands. Here's my root fifth. If I remember talking about diminished fifth, if I flat that 5, now this is a G5 here. If I flat the 5, I have a G flat 5. And the converse of that, I could augment my fifth, which would be a G sharp 5. So G5, G flat 5, G5, G sharp 5. And that's kind of fun to kind of throw in. Like diminished obviously is very evil sounding. And that's the sharp 5, the augmented. One example that comes to mind using the flat 5. Of course, the Symphony of Destruction by Megadeth. Of course, that's not played on acoustic guitar typically, but anyway, so E5, E flat 5, D5, D flat 5, C5, C flat 5. Off the top of my head, I can't think of any songs that use a sharp 5, a power chord with a sharp 5. I know they exist. I know I've done them. I just can't remember what band. It might have been Paramore or Rise Against or one of the more modern rock bands. Anyway, if you can think of a song that you've played maybe that had a sharp 5 power chord, you can put it in the comments. But anyway, that's really it. That's pretty easy. One of the easier lessons I think I posted. Root and fifth and octave. There's no major, there's no minor to define the chord. It's a very neutral sounding chord. So anyway, hope that was helpful. See you next time.